India and Japan held their first ever foreign and defense ministerial dialogue, better known as the 2+2 dialogue, in New Delhi today, during which the two sides focused on threats to regional security, particularly from Pakistan-based terror groups, asking it to take strong and visible action against them. In what can be termed as one of the most significant geopolitical and diplomatic developments in recent weeks, it was for the first time that an India-Japan joint statement has named Pakistan as the source of terror in the region. Both sides issued a strongly worded joint statement after the meeting between the defense and foreign affairs ministers of the two countries, saying, and I quote here, the ministers underlined the need for all countries to ensure that all territory under their control is not used to launch terrorist attacks on other countries in any manner. They noted in the context a threat posed to regional security by terrorist networks operating out of Pakistan and called upon it to take resolute and irreversible action against them and fully comply with international commitments, including the FATF. Now, the fact that a key strategic partner like Japan has agreed to India's stand on Pakistan-based terror and agreed to call out Pakistan's inaction on terror has significant implications on India's Western Front, but also an attempt to balance the Chinese influence. Pakistan's all-weather friend and India's domineering neighbor China has not only tried to prevent Pakistan from being blacklisted at the FATF, but also backed Pakistan on its position on Kashmir at the global forums. Wion's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal is joining us live on the phone line now. And Siddhant, significant development, of course, firstly, the first 2+2 dialogue and successful, with the mention, of course, there of terror emanating from Pakistan, naming Pakistan.
Yes, that's significant development, naming Pakistan, calling on Pakistan to take irreversible action against terror camps on its territory and territories under its control. But three key important outcomes. One, of course, Pakistan. The other two being South China Sea and North Korea. On South China Sea, India and Japan clearly saying that the code of conduct that's being negotiated between the ASEAN countries and Beijing should make sure that the stakeholders, the other stakeholders, which includes countries like Japan, India, US, that use South China Sea, their freedom of navigation should not be stopped, or it should not prejudice the rights and interests of these countries. On North Korea, complete, verifiable, irreversible dismantling of all weapons of mass destruction. That's a statement which will, of course, reverberate in Washington, because these are the words which have been used by the US State Department for a long time. So, three key important outcomes. But other than that, if you look at India's and Japan's defense outcomes, the Japanese side will be sending a liaison officer at the Information Fusion Center, which is situated in Gurgaon, and takes the entire Indian Ocean region, all the developments which happen there. The Australians have said yes to it, the British have said yes to it, and now the Japanese have said yes to it. And also the last and the most important point is the acquisitions and the cross-servicing agreement, which is a logistic agreement which is being negotiated. Both of the sides discussed this, and this is now likely to be signed during Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's visit to India in mid-December.
All right, Siddhant, thanks very much indeed for joining us with all those details there. The first 2+2 dialogue between India and Japan, among many other things, of course, Pakistan being named, and both sides asking Pakistan to do more on terror.